Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Million Dollar Media. I'm your host Max Kellerhalls, and with me today we have
Hello, it is your boy Donovan back at it again.
this time talking about a DC thing.
Yeah,
You're the Marvel guy.
yeah, I am.
mm-hmm.
Marvel's around me.
There.
Hello.
But yeah, no, we're gonna have Donovan take a shot at the DC universe, and this time with their second movie out the gate for at least the James Gunn's DCU, Supergirl. I wouldn't call this a spin-offs of Superman because it's not really, but it is a part of the ever-growing James Gunn DCU that includes stuff like Peacemaker season 2, Creature Commandos, and last year's number 2 best film of the year, Superman. This movie's about Supergirl, Kara Zor-El, and her adventures throughout the galaxy to get the antidote from a villain named Krem of the Yellow Hills who shot her dog while also taking care of a little girl who is trying to get revenge on Krem for the death of her family. Now, this movie has been getting a lot of say online from good people, from bad people, good things, bad things, people who have read the comic, people who have not read the comic. But I will say this right off the bat, I have read the comic this is based on, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and I will say it is one of the best comics that I have read in a very long time. If you haven't read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, you should. I highly recommend it. So there was a big bar going in. Donovan, I don't know about you, but do you know anything about this comic?
No, honestly, I've only read Marvel comics.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say this. If you want to get into DC, I highly recommend Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I don't know particularly what you think of this movie, but I highly recommend you read that comic. That being said, I wasn't particularly a huge fan of this movie. I honestly think this was my biggest disappointment of this year.
Yeah, it very much was.
I kind of want to get your opinion real quick about the movie. What did you think of it?
This movie was more than ass. This movie was straight up fart.
Damn.
And like there's enough green in it for that statement to be backed up.
Sorry, I can only think of Ice Spice when you said like I just saw a video with Tobey Maguire and Ice Spice, so I just can't, like, she's just on my mind now. Yeah, no, I'll say this. I don't think this movie is horrible. I just think it's not very well written, and I don't think it's very interesting. Honestly, they think this movie commits a sin that I think most movies don't ever want to be associated with. Boring. I don't know if you got that feeling, but I was kind of bored throughout this movie.
I don't think it was boring. I think it just kind of went around. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, parts of it felt a little aimless.
Yeah. I don't think I gave this film a fair shot, to be fair. Not only is this based off one of my favorite comics of all time, it is also the second movie out the gate after Superman, which was one of my favorite movies of last year. So that's a very high bar to set for a movie. But I feel like as a movie, it just doesn't hold up.
Honestly, I had kind of a lot of issues with the way they handled the plot, the antagonists, and the various other things just related to that.
What did you think of the overall story? Because this was a fresh take on Supergirl for you, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I've had basically no exposure to Supergirl
Mhm.
up until I would say, yeah, no, up until now.
Mhm. What did you think of this take? Like her being a drunk, sad character.
I feel like the concepts is fine, but
Mhm.
where they go with it is it doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
Like I feel like they don't do enough, or they don't do the right thing in order to get her to move on or be different or whatever. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Like not much of an arc.
Yeah.
I get that too. I think Millie Alcock as Kara is great. Like she's really good as Supergirl. Like say what you want about this movie, say and we are going to say some things. I by no mean think that she is a terrible character, nor do I think that she is a bad actress. No, she's fucking incredible in this movie. I just don't think the script around her is as good. Like I think she is putting everything that she can into this movie, but the movie around her isn't good enough.
Honestly, that's exactly what the issue is.
Mm-hmm. Like I like watching her. like do her thing. I like this interpretation. Honestly, this is what I think of Supergirl from now on in comics. Like I like this more grizzled take on the character. I like the difference between her and Clark. Like Clark is a bit more hopeful, a bit more cheerful, a bit more light, whereas she is a bit more gritty, jaded, has seen more out of life than Clark. Like she has seen the darker parts of life. Best scenes in this movie are when Clark and her are interacting.
Yeah.
When David Cornsweet is on screen as Superman, the movie brightens up. He is that good. Honestly, he is my favorite Superman. Like this movie kind of cemented it for me. Like every time I see him, I get a big smile on my face. I'm like, oh, it's Superman. I'm glad he's here. I like the way he interacts with Kara. I like the way he cares about Kara. And it does make me really excited to see them work together more in the future. Do you have anything to say about the Superman Clark stuff?
I honestly do like the scenes where Clark comes around. He's just the type of guy to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm. He's just a bright and happy person. And it's nice to have him around.
Yeah.
Which is what Superman's
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
be. Like, you feel safe and comfortable when he is around. Once you get out of those two characters, I think a lot of the characters in this movie don't really work all too well for me. And I think the thing that really disappoints me, I wouldn't say it's the actress's fault, because I think she does a fine job, but I think they really don't handle Ruthie's character that well.
They don't.
I kind of want to get your opinion on that before I go into, like, the differences between the comic and the movie. So, like, what did you think of Ruthie?
I felt like for her character backstory, she ends up getting in the way too much.
Mm-hmm.
And for the one singular time she didn't get in the way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it's out of nowhere. Just like from a standpoint, this is the first time we're seeing her strengths.
Mm-hmm.
But like, she should know how to use a weapon. Her dad's a swordsmith.
Well, you can make swords and not know how to wield a sword.
Oh,
That's fair.
okay, you make a good point right there. But
I understand where you're coming from, but I do think, like, the charm of her character is that she doesn't know what she's doing.
yeah, I can see that being.
Which is her character in the comic. Like, in the comic, her origin is a bit different. In the movie, this is not too much of a spoiler, but in the movie, they kill her entire family. Like, her mom, her dad, and her brother. Whereas in the book, it's just her dad, and she has like 7 older brothers and a mom still alive. But the thing is that her brothers are too dumb to know what to do, or they just don't care too much. Whereas she had a very strong relationship with her dad and thinks that he deserves justice. So she goes out and looks for someone to help her on her revenge quest.
It is already a much better setup.
Mm-hmm. Like she already has something to prove because her brothers are all like jacked, huge guys. And she's like this little 12-year-old girl. But she's just got this fire in her heart to like do this revenge thing. Like she wants to kill this guy. I mean, I don't mind the change of her entire family dying because it, really gets to the point of like she has nothing left, which I think could work. I feel like with a revenge like that, the character should be more passionate, and I don't think they get her to be that passionate. She's about as passionate for her revenge as she is in the comic, which is still there, but it's not like I have nothing left to live for. Like Ruthie in the comic is like, I could be doing better things, but I am doing this, and no one's going to stop me. My biggest flaw with adapting Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow to just being a Supergirl movie is that it makes Ruthie's character pointless. Because in the comic, even though it's Supergirl's comic, Ruthie is the main character, and Supergirl is like a secondary character. Like, not the main character, but everything we see in the comic is through Ruthie's perspective. So, like, when we see Kara jaded, we see a little girl look at an older girl who's not really living up to her capabilities, but still wanting to help this little girl. It's this really cute older sister, little sister dynamic, which at points the movie does do well just because of Millie Alcock's performance. And I also will give credit to the little girl, Eve Ridley. I think she does good in those moments, but it's not as strong as it should be for me to actually care. It basically makes Ruthie not important because it just feels like this character that's stuck on to Supergirl rather than a passionate little girl. It just feels more like an annoyance, which kind of undercuts Ruthie's whole point. Because Ruthie is not meant to be annoying. She's supposed to be passionate. Whereas in the movie, they treat her as annoying to Supergirl. Like, she's annoyed that this little girl got her involved with this. She's annoyed that this little girl is stuck with her the entire time. So it kind of already makes the interaction not as fun. I know that the comic sets up Supergirl as a drunk, getting drunk in the bar on this red sun planet. But the thing the comic does is that she's only really a drunk for the first 2 issues, maybe. But for the rest of it, she's pretty sober and, like, willing to help. And she's jaded, but she's still very hopeful. Whereas this version is, like, she's not really Supergirl throughout most of the movie.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
They kind of surf Dracula her, which I didn't like.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Other things that I think the movie doesn't do as well, and I think it's a huge problem if they're going to do this going forward in the DCU, the worlds they set up are very boring and not interesting to look at. Like, space doesn't look fun to be in.
Yeah, they're all pretty generic.
Like, it just feels like, hey, Guardians did it, Star Wars did it, let's just do it here.
It's like they wanted something spacey, but
Mm-hmm.
they haven't experienced any space stories, so they
Yeah.
just make a space. It's oh yeah, it's an alien planet that got humans and houses on it.
Yeah. And bars and shit like that. Like, it was fun when Star Wars does it because Star Wars is this outlandish universe or galaxy with lasers and magic and shit like that. But it has like a dive bar where cool aliens just stay at, to kind of ground it. Whereas this movie, we have Earth.
Yeah,
We
we
can
don't
go.
need more humans.
Yeah, we don't need more humans. We don't need more bars. We don't need that stuff. To be fair, I will say the comic does have a town that is literally like an old 50s style town, but it has like these really fun blue aliens in it. These little like gremlin looking aliens that are kind of cool. It's fun to see their culture. Actually, I shouldn't say fun because the context behind the culture of those aliens in the comic is horrifying. I'll just say it, they're racist.
Oh,
The blues hate the purples, and they have signs that say no purples allowed. So it's this little side story in which Supergirl has to teach Ruthie about racism.
yeah.
Yeah, not in the movie at all. Like, not even close to anything like that. Like, the whole story in the comic is Ruthie learning that, like, there are horrible things that happen every day to everyone, yet they still find a way to persevere and exist. And that by killing, it doesn't make you better than them. It's more about remembering who you lost and how to move on from it and to love, kind of thing like that. Like, that's the idea of the story, is to not forget and forgive what has happened to you, but to move on and persevere through that pain. That's what Kara does every day. Like, she lost her entire planet, her family, her culture. She's only like one of 2 people left. She doesn't have much left of her old life, but she still perseveres. And that's the beauty of that comic. And I think that's what the movie is trying to do, but they don't have the right elements for it. Like, Ruthie's character in this movie doesn't really help to represent that.
You can say it was executed, but
Not well.
hardly.
Well, here's the thing. Like, what I'm getting from your response here is that, like, by me telling you what the message is means that the movie didn't do a good job telling you that.
No, it basically failed, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm curious, though, is there anything you have to add about anything I've said, or any questions you want to ask me about what you didn't like about the movie that the book may have done better?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read it. So I'm gonna ask the question. Did the comic series have like a lot of references to pedophilia, or was that just a weird movie thing?
No, not really.
Okay.
Krem in the book is just an asshole. Krem in the book is just a guy. He has no superpowers, he has no weird studs in his face, he doesn't have some weird breathing mechanic that they add for the movie. He's just a shirtless, barbarian looking guy with a bow and arrow who goes from place to place committing horrible crimes. He's not even a part of the brigands in the book until halfway through the story. And that's only because he gets picked up by them and they like that he's this killer. So they're just like, hey, you want to come kill with us? And they take him along with. Like, he's this nobody character who kills this poor girl's dad And then because he's so good at what he does, he gets picked up and becomes a more and more of a bigger deal. Like you see his progression throughout the story to being a genocidal maniac. Like it starts off small and then it gets bigger and bigger to the point where like in the book he has these magic orbs in which the only way you can get them is if you kill 100,000 people, and he has two of them.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's how bad he is. Whereas in the movie, they just fucking go all at it with this like over-designed guy, this huge armor, studs in his face, weird accent. It was just like, what are you doing? Like it's not it's creme in name only. And the whole pedophilic sex trafficking, human trafficking thing is only a movie thing. In the book, the brigands are mostly men, but that's because they're just kind of like a bunch of assholes. They're a bunch of manosphere assholes, kind of. Like,
Okay.
where in the movie, it's like they're manosphere, but they're more like open about like, we don't like women. We only use women to have sex and make more men. And we'll take little
Yeah.
girls. So, that's weird.
Yeah. I think they went overboard with it, genuinely.
It felt
Cause
like
like,
they wanted to say something about human trafficking, but they didn't want to commit to it, so they just have the guys do human trafficking, and that's it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like it
yeah,
wants to say something, but it's not really saying something.
yeah. Cause like I found it just a little distasteful that it was like so abundant that
Yeah.
they're kidnapping these little girls.
Mhm.
They get called brides at some point, and it's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
It's interesting. It's like two different kinds of evil. What's more evil in your eyes? Genocidal maniacs or people who commit human trafficking?
I think that's a trick question.
I
What's the
know, right?
difference?
Well, yeah, there's a
There's a
difference. I just think Krem as a character in this movie is just a bland villain. Like he's not interesting, not memorable. He's a mustache twirling villain without a mustache, and he's not really that threatening because like you just know at any point like Supergirl can just beat the shit out of him, and she does.
yeah,
I will say there was a cool moment like where she just fucking grabs him and just ragdolls him.
yeah,
Like not that, to be fair, there are some cool moments in the movie, but I don't think the action is as memorable and as visually interesting cuz like you don't really care about the villains cuz they're just kind of generic. You don't really care about any of the worlds cuz they're generic, and Supergirl can just fly up and just get healed, so there's no real stakes. And any stakes that there were with, this poor little girl Ruthie getting corrupted by the events around her, you don't really care about Ruthie, so you just don't care. I don't know. So the action never becomes fun to watch. And I have a question for you. What did you think of Lobo?
oh, that guy. Yeah, no, he was the best part of the movie. Like, just straight up.
Really?
Yeah.
Now look, Jason Momoa has wanted to play this character ever since he was a kid, and I think he's good. I just don't think he belongs in this movie.
Yeah, no, he kind of absolutely doesn't, because, like, he
Yeah.
comes out of nowhere
Yeah.
with the same motivations as our protagonist. He wants to
Mhm.
kill this asshole. Then he vanishes. Well, then there's a fight scene. He
Mhm.
vanishes for a good quarter of the movie. Turns out he's been in jail. And after breaking out, he decides to let the girl who's out for revenge
Mhm.
get her revenge, despite the fact that he's out here trying to kill this guy on a hit job. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, but like, why would you let the child take the glory instead? What did she do though?
Well,
Why'd you change your mind, man?
didn't they say that he was after a different guy? Like a guy who was a brigand, but he wasn't our main villain. He was just some guy Lobo was after. But still, like, even the guy that I'm thinking of that he's after, I don't remember his name. And it's just still a half-assed excuse to say why Lobo is here. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't really have that many fun interactions with Kara. Okay, I'm gonna compare this movie to Superman because I think that's a little bit fair. When in
Okay.
Superman, all the side characters that are like big name superheroes are there for a reason, and they help to complement Clark and what he is all about. Like Clark, like the Justice Gang are a bunch of superheroes who really don't care about collateral damage or about saving the person they're trying to defeat and getting justice, really. They're just there to fight the thing, kill the thing, be done with it. That goes to show how our main character, Clark, is different from all these other superheroes. Whereas, like, here, it's drunk Supergirl, who doesn't really care about anything, just wants to get this one guy and be done with it. And Lobo, a big drunk biker guy who wants to kill the guy and get him paid. That's it. They don't play up like this dark reflection angle of like, hey, I could grow up to be like that guy. He's just there.
Yep.
I mean, he's good at it, but like, it's not enough for me to be like, oh, I can't wait to see Lobo again.
The only reason why I like him is because I thought he was funny.
That's fair.
If he wasn't funny, I
yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's Jason Momoa. Whenever he's on screen, he's electric. He's fun. He's just doing what he wants. Like, he's a very good performer in that way. He's very charismatic. But other than that, he's not in the movie enough to be interesting, and his presence and overall impact on the story is not well enough to be memorable.
I want to talk about one of the ending scenes.
Go on.
It's
spoilers, by the way. We're gonna move into spoilers.
So the girl's motivation is revenge, and throughout the entire time, Supergirl is, I won't say she's advising against it, but she's saying revenge isn't gonna do anything. It's not gonna make you feel better. Blah blah this, blah blah that, and of course she's still not listening. But after seeing that this the main antagonist is this much of a monster, has hurt this, has done that, all of this, and let's be honest, Supergirl never gets a proper argument on why revenge isn't gonna, make her feel better or anything.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a backstory? Maybe she tried to get revenge on somebody, and then it left her feeling empty, soulless, heartless. But nope, nothing.
Yeah, she basically says, like, don't do it because I know it will make you feel bad. Like, it won't bring anything to you. But yeah, you're right. She doesn't bring up any other reason than that. And to be fair, we just saw Supergirl kill like 50 other brigands. Like, they're dead. And you're meaning to tell me, like, hey, little girl, don't kill this one guy who, if he did die, everything would be better.
Like, actually, despite the fact that she went the entire movie trying to convince this child not to kill the guy, she manages to do it at the last second. And you know what she does almost immediately as soon as the girl's out of, like, earshot distance or whatever? She takes the sword and she fucking stabs the guy and said, this is what you get. You got revenge on her behalf.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, no, she got revenge, too, for her dog as well. Honestly, it was like the most baffling character decision I've seen in a superhero in a long time. This is almost the Man of Steel argument. Remember that? Like, that was a whole argument online. Basically, was it right to kill Zod? Was it this? It was like, if we're gonna make the comparison to this guy and Zod, it's like Zod put her in Superman in an unwinnable situation, and he had to do that. Even though, at least for what the movie was setting up, I know comic book Superman would probably figure out a way around that. But in this movie, she stabs an unarmed man after saying killing someone out of revenge will not make you better. Do you want to know what happens in the comic?
Actually, yes, I would like to know what happens in a comic.
So, they capture Krem. Supergirl is having to fight off the brigands, so she leaves Krem tied up to a tree, and Ruthie, making sure he doesn't escape with the sword. And he's like gagged and tied up to this tree really tight. Like, he cannot escape unless being untied. And Supergirl is having a hard time fighting the brigands, and Ruthie, while she's away, I'm gonna get my revenge. So she unties Krem. They have a little fight. Ruthie manages to get the upper hand because she's just smarter. This guy's been weakened. He's goading her to tell her to kill him because it's like, oh, you'll make you feel better, make you feel this. And we see then Supergirl come down, bloodied and beaten, but still, standing strong. Ruthie has been trying to kill Krem, but every time she goes to swing the sword, she misses. Supergirl grabs the sword from her because she's frustrated and fed up with everything. And she goes to swing the sword at Krem, like she's winding up and everything. And Ruthie then realizes that all of the stuff that has happened throughout the story, and starting to realize that if they were to kill this guy, there's nothing to it. It wouldn't bring anything back. It would just make them lesser and bitter people. The world's too big, they're too small. And so Ruthie begs Supergirl to not kill Krem. She grabs the sword and consoles Supergirl. And since the story's been narrated by Ruthie the entire time, we cut forward. It's old Ruthie. Kara comes back with Crypto. He's fine. She's fine. And Kara took Krem to a prison, and she basically asks Ruthie, hey, do you want to speak to Krem? Because he wants to speak to you. And Ruthie says, all right, let him talk to me. Kara brings down Krem for him to speak to her. Krem is like, he's been reformed. It's been like hundreds of years. Like, he's begging for forgiveness. And in the end, Ruthie just hits him, and they both laugh and walk away. Basically saying, like, no, she's not going to kill him, but she's not going to forgive him. Like, she has moved on. She has lived her life happily. Like, she has made something for herself. Kara brought that hope for her. And also, it proves that, like, no matter what you can do, if you reform can work. But doesn't mean you have to forgive that person. And that's more of a powerful ending for me than whatever this movie did, where it's just like, no, kill him. Is the only thing that this decision to change it for the movie sets up is that anytime we see Kara in the future, we know that she would be the one to kill the person. She's not going to have a second chance to be like, oh, well, I don't know. She's going to be like, I'm going to kill him. So that sets up a dynamic that's interesting for Superman and Kara. But I know I've been talking a lot. What do you think of the comic book ending?
Honestly, I think the comic book is already like billion times better than this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's just more comprehensible.
Well, it's also like more thought-provoking and interesting and heartfelt. Like, there's a moment in the comic that made me cry. There's a moment where Kara and Ruthie go to this planet on their search for the brigands and Krem, and they find this one alien who's digging graves. Like, the brigands have come and they have laid waste to thousands of people. And this poor guy is saying that I will not stop until I get to my daughter.
Oh, jeez.
And Kara asks, do you mind if I step in and help then? And like take a second to, catch your breath. And she basically uses her super speed to dig all of the graves and put all the bodies to rest. Just because she can. And the guy asks her, God, it's kind of getting me emotional now. Do you know where my daughter is? Can I say goodbye to my daughter? And she says yes. It's a beautiful moment of like showing how much Kara cares about other people, and also teaching Ruthie that bad shit does happen. Like, horrible things happen to people every day, yet they still choose to like find love in these moments and focus on remembering the other person and the people that this happens to. And to be fair, I could be reading very differently into that. It has been a little bit since I read the comic, but still, it was such a moving moment for me that this movie never gets close to touching.
Not even a little.
Nothing ever in this movie where there's that moment of like heart and remembrance and the beauty of life, because the whole movie just looks ugly. Like, it's all about the ugliness of life and how much people suck. There's no beauty in the movie. It's just a bunch of like grungy Mad Max style characters in this space opera with a girl who doesn't really have hope in her own life. Which, I mean, if that's the story they want to tell, go ahead. But if you're going to say this is based off this comic, why are you changing it so much?
You are absolutely correct about that. The more you talk about the comic, the more I realize that the script for the movie and the story for the comic are like vaguely related, but like they're not the same thing. And I'm actually starting to realize more and more that the comic story is just not a good. I don't think it'd make for a good movie adaptation simply because it seems like
There's
it requires a lot of time and a lot of patience in movies. You can't capture that much within, you only have
that's
like an hour or two.
no, that's fair. I could see where you're coming from. I think you can still capture moments from the comic and the overall feel of the comic, but they just didn't. And that's really what disappointed me, is that they didn't capture the feel of the comic and the emotion that it had. And I feel like if you're gonna adapt something, you should at least keep the same feeling and motive of the comic. You can change like story beats. Like, do I absolutely need to have that moment that I love in the comic that made me cry? No, I don't, because it is a bit too side story. But you could still have a moment of something like that in the movie, but they just don't do that. At best, we get a scene where Krem just kills a family, and that's it. But I really don't care about the family because they betrayed Supergirl. So I'm just kind of like, okay. I mean, it sucks, but I don't really care. This was just the biggest disappointment for me this year. And that's really what sucks. Now, I will say, this movie has gotten a lot of flack online from people who do like it, saying that, like, oh, it's because it's a woman superhero movie that you don't like it. And I will acknowledge that a lot of male critics haven't really liked a lot of female superhero movies. Like, if you look at the critic scores for female superhero movies, they're not great. And I do acknowledge that there is an issue there, that maybe there should be more women talking about women-led superhero films and voicing their opinions. However, me and Donovan are both men, so we're just giving our
Yeah.
opinion. And if we don't like something, I think we should be fair to say that. I don't think the problem we have with this movie is that it's a woman leading it.
No, that's definitely not the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like this girl. I actually do like the character herself. I thought she was an interesting take on, a
Mhm.
hero. Half the time she doesn't really want to save it, but when she save people, but
Mhm.
like when she does, she really does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the idea of this character. There's a superhero that's not, how do I say this? She's not Wonder Woman, and like Wonder Woman is like a beacon of hope and justice, whereas Supergirl is just a girl. And I don't mean to make the meme of just a girl, haha. Not no, that's not what I'm saying. I just mean that like she is imperfect. She is a drunk. She has flaws, but that doesn't mean that she's not a hero. And I like that. I like that they make a point that she just wears dingy clothing and wears like a trench coat. Like when she gets the Supergirl costume, she still has messy hair. She's interesting. She has layers. It's just the story that she's in is just not that great. And what really bothers me about it is like, I don't know if you ever saw like when James Gunn announced his DCU and like how the philosophy he went forward with it.
I don't think I did.
Okay, so James Gunn has stated that the only time that he will allow a movie to go into production is if the script is perfect and finished. We will go into production with the movie. We're not going to wing it on the fly like what Marvel does, where it's like, do we have a script? No? Fuck it. Keep going. But here's the thing, say what you want about Marvel, it works.
No one's denying that. It works very well.
If we're going to compare Marvel to this DCU, it went Iron Man, a great movie, to The Incredible Hulk, an okay movie. I'm not going to be like one of those YouTubers who say, oh, the DCU is dead. Snyderverse should come back. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not one of those idiots.
I mean, if they think Snyderverse should come back, well,
Yeah. But no, like, I don't think the DCU is dead. I'm excited for Lanterns. I'm really excited for Clayface. Like, that is the right amount of different direction to take. But yeah, I just don't think they nailed it this time. Like, I think like it does baffle me, this whole like, oh, we will only let things go into production if the script is good. I don't know how you can look at this and be like, that's good.
really can't. You look at it and you're like, oh, you said this was based off the Supergirl comic. Where's like anything resembling it?
Yeah, maybe it was an editing thing, or like, hey, in the edit didn't work out. But when you're actually filming it, it doesn't work. That's where I think like things like Kara and Millie Alcock work, because that's what they were focusing on, and everything else just didn't. But it does baffle me, like this whole like, oh, we'll only let things go into production if they are good. And I'm like, okay, that basically means anytime a movie doesn't work, you had complete faith in it, so I'm kind of distrusting your takes, but I don't know. I think James Gunn is a really good writer and director, but when it comes to him producing things, I haven't been too happy. and he's going to be producing other things in the future. So I'm like, hopefully I'm wrong. I think I am wrong, but I want to be proven wrong. Like I think he can be a good producer. I just don't think this was it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop talking. I might watch it again and like it more without that high of expectation. But
It's
honestly, this is on the same level as like Captain America Brave New World for me.
yeah. Honestly, that's all I gotta say.
Donovan, you ready for the internet to call sexist?
Yeah, I can't believe this shit.
That being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe, and share. With me today, we had.
Hello, it's your boy Donovan. I was back at it again.
That breath. That's very telling of this review. Subscribe to our Patreon. Check out our other DC content. We're also going to be doing some fun videos in the release for Clayface, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, keep watching movies, keep reading comics, and keep watching
Please,
our videos. Hope you have a good
double
day.
please.
Bye.